Namaste and good morning to the respected chair, external referee, director of the center, my research guide, member of the committee, and distinguished guest. I'm truly grateful for this opportunity to present my research journey before such a great panel. Today, I'm happy and also a bit nervous, but for a good reason. Happy because although my parents could not attend school, I'm today the second sibling in my family to defend a PhD. And a bit nervous because this room is full of scholars. So thank you so much for understanding and your encouragement. More than to share just my research findings, I'm here to explore a question that has deeply shaped both my academic and personal path. So, what truly makes a business morally right?
Wait, I think there are a few more people who are keep their mic open.
In a world
Sir, just a minute. There is some noise.
okay.
Can everyone mute themselves?
Sanjay Sasane and Chandrakant More.
Please mute yourself.
Psychological perspective.
Sanjay Sasane, sir, can you please mute?
Right.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, okay, sir. It's all right. So, may I proceed?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Who is your research in charge? Ask him, make sure that all the people they are muted. I am repeating it again and again, but still people they are not following it, which is not good.
We'll take care, sir. Sure.
Yeah, please. So, with your permission, I would like to proceed with the presentation. More than to share just my research findings here, I'm to explore a question that has deeply shaped my academic and personal path. That is what truly makes a business morally right. In a world driven by rules and compliance, I began to wonder, is legality enough? Or is there something deeper that guides responsible business behavior? Over the next 35 minutes, I invite you to join me on this journey. With your kind permission, I'll be happy to take your questions at the end of my presentation. At the screen, the formal title of my research. And let me tell you, this title is not the outcome of, it has not come overnight. It has been outcome of countless hours of dialogues with my research guide and RR committee. It was shaped carefully, which follows university guidelines and AICTE research framework. As you can see in this study, the universal righteousness principle, in short URP, forms the independent variable. URP has been operationalized as a structured and measurable construct that builds ethical awareness and guides the moral compass of decision makers. Whereas second study variable, that is corporate governance or CG in short, which we will call in the later presentation, represents the dependent variable, which extend an organization practice accountability, transparency, fairness, responsibility towards their stakeholders. The goal was to study the impact of URP on CG, especially in IT multinational of Nashik, Pune, and Mumbai. Let me briefly share what triggered me to undertake this research. Exactly on April 10th, 2018, I watched on television someone I deeply admired, a tech visionary, a global icon facing the US Senate, answering questions about data privacy scandal. He appeared uncomfortable, exhausted, and exposed. It felt very personal, not because I knew him, but because I believed in what he stands for, the innovation, vision, and leadership. But yet, in that particular moment, He was not defending a technical error. He was struggling to explain a moral failure. With all due respect, I cite this moment not to judge any individual, but to highlight a deeper systemic gap between legal compliance and moral responsibility in modern enterprises. I was forced to ask myself, how does someone so brilliant end up here? And that particular moment did not just make me think, but more than unsettle me. It awakened a deeper inquiry into something far larger. What is fundamentally missing in the way we think about business, leadership, and governance? So when I witnessed scandals like Satyam, Enron, Sahara, and Wirecard, to name a few, they felt like earthquakes. They were not just headlines. People lost their livelihoods. Families were shaken and trust was shattered. And why did this disaster affect me so deeply? Because I grew up with the human values and moral principles, not as abstract ideas or idols, but as a way of life. My parents often reminded me being right is more important than being rich. Sir, over the last 25 years as an entrepreneur in IT world, I have seen brilliance and success. And also I have witnessed pressure, compromise, and moral struggle. Why do some organizations do good while others not? Why do ethical failures persist despite of countless rules and compliance in place? And not and more importantly, how do we fix this as a problem? So I begin asking myself, what makes a business morally right? Not just profitable, not just legal, but truly righteous. Initially, I thought the answer might be in corporate governance, in its systems and policies. But then soon I realized, despite of this structure in place, why corporate scandals continues to occur again and again. So this led me to reflect on what is missing in contemporary governance models. What makes righteousness governance itself? That was my question. And from this reflection, my central research inquiry that form a central question: can we move beyond compliance? Conscience. So as I immersed myself in an extensive literature review of hundreds of earlier research papers, journals, books, and many other digital resources, uh, three clear gaps began to emerge. First, a theoretical gap. Most governance models emphasize rules and compliance, but often overlook righteousness. That is the inner moral compass of which guides leaders to do what is not only what is right, but also what is required. And secondly, an empirical gap. Although we frequently speak about values, very few studies actually measures whether the moral principles such as universal righteousness can strengthen governance or build trust in a tangible way. And third, a contextual gap. Much of the existing research are grounded in developed world business situations. And there is a very limited work rooted particularly in emerging hubs where I work, the places like Nasik, Pune, and Mumbai, where rapid innovation coexist and complex ethical challenges are there. So this particular environment demand governance that is not technically sound, but also morally resilient. And this gaps feels like a call to action to contribute something truly meaningful beyond just earning a degree. To answer my central research question, I framed the study around 7 research objectives and 4 hypotheses, ensuring that every objective was logically mapped to a testable proposition. As you can see on the screen, the first 2 objectives focus on conceptual clarity of study variables. Let me share, I spend more time over these two objectives than analysis, because this was very crucial in my research. That is, first, to identify what universal righteousness principles means, and second, to understand how corporate governance is currently defined and practiced. To achieve these objectives, I interviewed over 150 experts from diverse industries and different designations. Thematic analysis was applied on primary data to construct URP and secondary data to operationalize corporate governance. So this ensured that both constructs were grounded in theory as well as lived organizational reality. The next set of objectives which you see here aligns directly with the hypothesis to text their relationships. First, whether URP influences governance. Second, whether it strengthens stakeholder loyalty. And third, whether awareness of URP enhances governance effectiveness as an overall measure. And so employed quantitative techniques here, each chosen with a very specific purpose. Say, for example, descriptive statistics help me to establish the baseline pattern in response. Correlation examines the strength and overall direction of the relationships. Regression tested the predictive power of the URP and CG. And ANOVA enabled comparison across various groups. So together, these tools ensured that relationships were not only observable, but rigorously validated. And the sixth objective of my research that moves from observation to intervention. So shift here through the structured URP awareness program, I was able to conduct pre and post assessment using a Likert scale survey. So this has allowed me to compare results and see whether deliberate training can actually transform ethical awareness. And finally, all these insights, qualitative, quantitative, and my experimental activities converge in something that is the seventh objective: to design a URP-driven corporate governance framework that is not only theoretically sound, but practically usable. In essence, this particular slide represents the spine of my research. I love this slide, where objectives, hypotheses, and methodologies are tightly aligned to move from concept to evidence to applications. Now, to bring these objectives and hypotheses to life, I adopted a mixed method research design. This choice of mixed method was very deliberate, because the nature of URP is both philosophical and behavioral. So it required a depth to understand the meaning and measurement to establish the evidences. So qualitative method captured real experiences and values, while the quantitative method tested their impact and empirical rigor, allowing meaning and measurement to coexist in a very single and coherent study. In addition, I conducted an in-depth case study to move beyond statistical relationships and examine how URP operates with a real organizational context. This has enabled me to validate the tested hypothesis through primary grounded level evidences and revealing how awareness, behavior, and governance actually evolve in practice. It also informed the development of URP-driven framework. With this foundation in place, let us now walk through the research process step by step, which I am sure you will enjoy. As I mentioned earlier, this journey began with the qualitative phase. This was the most loving and enjoying part of my whole research journey. I conducted in-depth conversations and interviews with over 150 subject expertise of 39 designations, including CEOs, governance scholars, eminent scientists, directors, board members, and ethical philosophers, including someone who has been very phenomenal and a very backbone of Indian industrial policies, regulations, and technology sectors, which will be, the names will be popping up further. I asked them very simple yet profound questions, such as what makes governance truly ethical and what is missing in today's system. So please be assured that I'll be sharing key glimpses from those interviews in the latter part of this presentation. So through these rich dialogues and thematic analysis, clear pattern emerged. Keywords such as integrity, intent, morality, and humanity recurred consistently. From these insights, I distilled the three core pillars of universal righteousness principles. Those are ethics, leadership, and inclusivity. This phase allowed me to accomplish the first two objectives, that is identifying URP and defining
Recording
the key
stopped.
of corporate governance. Then come the quantitative phase, where earlier conceptualized study variables were empirically validated.
Recording in progress.
I studied over 24 IT-based multinational companies across Nashik, Pune, and Mumbai, gathering and compiling data from over 1 million reviews, surveys, and ratings by different stakeholders. Each response was mapped on a 5-point Likert scale, allowing me to capture clear, measurable trends in perception, awareness, and effectiveness of chosen for its reliability, and quantifying the subjective attitudes that those were enabling statistical comparison for the analysis. So now, let us begin with the descriptive statistics. I know this is going to be very technical for some audience, but as per the protocol, I need to go through. I promise this is going to be very interesting again. As you can see on screen, all variables are normally distributed. The p-value is greater than 0.05, confirming that the data is suitable for parametric analysis. And further, the correlation results reveals strong to very strong relationship among the four key variables, including meaningful and statistically significant connection between universal righteousness principles, corporate governance, and other stakeholder outcomes. Let us now test the first hypothesis, that is the relationship between URP and corporate governance, which was aligned to research objective 3. I used statistical tools such as ANOVA to confirm the overall significance of the regression model, linear regression model summary to evaluate how well URP predicts the CG, and regression coefficient to quantify the strength and direction of the relationship between these variables. The result shows that the model is statistically significant and explain a substantial portion of the variance in governance. Simply put, the URP emerges as a strong, positive, and meaningful predictor of CG. Hence, the first alternative hypothesis is accepted, achieving the third research objective here. Let us now test the second hypothesis, that is the relationship between URP and stakeholder loyalty. Similar to the first hypothesis, I used a combination of statistical tools to ensure research robustness. The result shows that the model is again statistically significant and explains a substantial portion of the variance in stakeholder loyalty. In essence, the URP is a strong, positive, and meaningful predictor of the stakeholder loyalty. Hence, the second alternative hypothesis is accepted, achieving the fourth research objective at this stage. Let us now move to the third hypothesis, that is the influence of URP awareness on the effectiveness of corporate governance. Like the earlier two hypotheses, this hypothesis also employs a same set of statistical tools. The result shows that the model is systematically and statistically significant and explains a substantial portion of the variance in governance. So in short, the awareness of URP is a strong, positive, and meaningful predictor of a overall corporate governance effectiveness. And hence, the third alternative hypothesis is accepted, achieving the fifth research objective. And driven by my entrepreneurial spirit, I wanted to see the change in action. To test the fourth hypothesis, a case study approach was purposefully proposed by my research guide, and I opted for the same. And that this particular case study approach allowed me to explore URP awareness in a real organizational setting and measure the tangible impact of an intervention on field. I designed and implemented a URP awareness training program and evaluated its effectiveness through pre and post training surveys. This approach was very perfect because it captures the real world dynamics, which provides rich contextual insights and shows how structured training can directly influence awareness, something that purely quantitative methods can fully reveal. Cannot fully explain or reveal. The results were very much clear. The training significantly improved the URP awareness, demonstrating that deliberate, structured program can drive meaningful change in corporate governance culture. As you can see, the analysis of this to measure URP awareness, I use 5-point Likert scale, which was used to capture structured and quantifiable perceptions. The impact of the training was analyzed using a pair t-test, which is very ideal for comparing pre and post training responses within the same group of respondents. As you can see on the screen, the results were very much clear. The t-test showed a p-value of 0.03 below the 0.05 threshold, indicating a statistically significant improvement. The pre-training charts reveal gaps, with the post-training charts displayed a more balanced profile across different stakeholder levels. This because the t-test precisely measures the change within a group, while spider charts provide an intuitive visual summary that measures alone numbers alone cannot show. The case study demonstrates that the structured interventions can meaningfully enhance URP awareness and strengthen corporate governance. And hence, I would like to share that the fourth hypothesis is accepted here at this stage, achieving this research objective. This particular slide of research findings captures the essence of what the research has discovered so far. Each objective translated into stable outcome. First, URP emerged as a structured and comprehensive construct. Second, existing governance models were found to be largely compliance-driven, lacking ethical depth, confirming the need for a value-anchored approach. And empirically, URP proved to be a powerful driver of governance effectiveness, explaining nearly 90% of evidence. It also significantly strengthens
He didn't even talk about
All the participants are requested to mute yourself.
It also significantly
Sanu,
strengthens
can you please?
stakeholder loyalty, positioning trust as a core governance outcome. And most importantly, awareness mattered. And when awareness was cultivated through structured training programs or other activities, ethical clarity and alignment improved significantly. Hence, all four hypotheses were supported, setting the foundation for the framework I now proposed in a very next slide. Finally, qualitative insights, quantitative results, which led to the development of URP-driven governance framework. It integrates empirical data, thematic analysis, and experts' insights into a practical, actionable, and scalable model, highlighting not only the principles to uphold, but also the pitfalls to avoid. As an outcome of this research, I intend to propose this URP-driven governance framework to various governing bodies such as RBI, MCA, and SEBI as a new concept of righteous corporate governance. During my research journey, I enjoyed working closely with my research guide and my research center and all research coordinators here. I thank them. We were able to translate our findings into real world impact. Together, we authored a globally published book entitled Corporate Governance Essentials from Theory to Practice, making the core concept accessible to wider audience. In addition, we published 4 scholarly articles, including case studies on ethical leadership in a reputed international journals indexed in ABDC, BISCO, or UGC CARE. Together, we also developed online courses hosted on reputed MOOC platforms, attracting hundreds of learners worldwide who are eager to understand what is core fundamentals and concepts of corporate governance. I'm happy that this research has not remained just an academic study, but it is now evolving into a movement trying to help business and industries become truly ethical, morally responsible, and more human. So we are moving towards the end of this presentation. So why does this matter? Because in today's world, where AI, data, and technology evolve faster than laws, the righteousness of the governance is not just a choice, it is necessity. It is a matter of survival. And with URP as a root, governance can grow strong, trustworthy, and enduring for everyone. For policymakers, a path beyond compliance towards true moral responsibility. For leaders, guidance to make decisions they can confidently stand by. And for society, a meaningful step toward fairness, integrity, and sustainability. While this study offers meaningful insights, certain limitations must be acknowledged. As it focused on IT companies in Nasik, Pune, and Mumbai region, the findings may not be fully generalizable yet at this stage. And also, this study relied on self-reported data, and URP awareness was measured only over the short-term period. So, looking ahead, as a scope of this my research, the framework can be extended to other sectors and regions which will examine longitudinally, can be integrated with the ESGs. Those are environmental, social, and governance parameters, and upcoming AI governance, and refined to support more robust audits in the future. Most importantly, this journey has transformed me personally. I have learned to slow down, listen deeply, and look at the things objectively, systematically, and scientifically. Beyond my personal growth as a researcher, this study has created meaningful academic and particular practical values. Academically, it introduces the URP governance framework and led to peer review publications and book and many global online courses. Practically, it resulted in a structured training program, a very rich repository of expert interviews as a knowledge domain, and tools that organizations can actually use. Through this work, I now see governance not merely as a set of rules, but as a living culture, nurtured through awareness, ethical action, and deliberate choices. So it deeply fulfilling to witness that research transforms into a real framework, learning, and impact. Let me conclude this presentation with a metaphor. Imagine corporate governance as a ship navigating stormy seas, where rules and policies are the same. But URP is the compass, and without the compass, the ship may sail fast, but it drift in a wrong direction. As a world, as a nation, as a corporate community, and as individuals, we must ask not just is it legal, but is it right? And as I promised here are some of the live links to the open resource connected to this research. All these links and knowledge is live. All those are live and are in public domain. So let us now have a look at a few key glimpses for the interviews conducted during the qualitative phase. I'm left with 5 minutes given to my presentation. So in next 5 minutes, I would like to share some of the interview glimpses. So this is the dedicated channel online for governance my research work. Let us now start with this podcast. So this was the qualitative phase of my research where I asked 5 questions about the corporate governance. As you can see, there are many individuals. Sunil Khandbahale, who is a director and who was the director and president of Bank of Baroda. Gopal Krishnan, he was a director and chair of a Tata Sons. So Mr. Praveen Gedam, who is serving as a divisional commissioner of Nasik now. And there are many, so let us start something like, okay, James Doty, he's a professor he's a professor at Stanford University. Oh.
I think that the purpose of governance ideally is to assist the CEO in creating an environment that involves not only the shareholders, but the stakeholders and the workers.
So here you can see.
And what I mean by that is
I ask different questions, and here is the profile of the professor who is talking. And we can directly switch to the question. Let's say, in the contemporary context of corporate wrongdoings, do you see the need of value?
It's an extraordinarily complicated problem. I mean, the solution's very easy. Actually having.
So with respect to the time given, we can switch to some other. Yeah. So here we can see Dr. Anil Kakodkar, who is on the who is serving as a chair on various Indian governing bodies.
You think about institutions. Typically, even world over, most of the universities or other most of the institutions, whatever work they may be doing, they get created for some purpose, and over a period of time they decline, particularly after the origin.
Yeah, so with respect to time, so I'll be sharing all these links. There was another podcast which I started during my research as my very platform to learn about the things. I was able to interview hundreds of professionals, including, let's say, here is Mr. Sam Pitroda, who is talking about the issues and concern of the corporate governance.
For a long time, human development has focused on conquering somebody. people go into a country, whether it is British coming to India or Americans from Europe coming to America or Spanish coming to and lift people at the bottom of the economic pyramid.
I promise you, these resources are very rich in content, and they are very valuable to learn about the corporate governance issues in contemporary context. Here is one of the person from Korea.
Welcome, Youngjik, and we had a very wonderful time at MIT campus, you and me and many of our friends together, studying together.
He's the
So
Secretary of Finance Ministry in Korea.
I would like to know very first thing first.
I can many all kinds of economic and finance sectors, but I focused on.
Okay, so we'll now see some of the publications outcomes of this research. So as the research community know, this is a very prominent name in research publication, Emerald Publications, where we publish case study with my research guide. And this particular publication, IV publication, is again one of the very prime and reputed name in the publication domain. This particular case was based on Google moral conflict, which was the award-winning case study. And now this particular case study is being taught in over 150 business schools. So I'm really happy about that. One book which I was talking or referring is a Corporate Governance Essentials, published by Eliva Press, which is an international publication. And they made it available through different bookstores online, like Google Readings and Amazon. Yeah, so here are the MOOC courses. Yeah, so these courses are free, one can enroll. You can see highly rated courses are available. Yeah, and this Open Learn is one of the universities which encourages and you can see course content. Say, for example, if we click on something called Legal Foundation, so these are different chapters and overview and quiz and summaries given. So I'll not go in detail. Here is my scholar profile where I used to publish different articles often. This SSRN network is again one of the very renowned network for research. You can see multiple downloads for our research papers there. They are highly referred in lots of research and thesis. So I'm very happy about that practical contribution. This is very interesting. I had very challenges in understanding the corporate governance initially because it is manifold and it is very vast topic. So I started building mind map along with my research guide. So let us say, so it began with the keyword and various branches then emerge into different sub branches. Say, for example, this one, regulatory framework for CZ in India. And if we scroll further, this is very huge one. So it will take time to appear on screen. Yeah, see, standard listing. These are different sub branches and explanation is also given. So this resource, I think, is very happy. I wish I would have such kind of mind maps available when I was entering into this research. But fortunately, that was an opportunity, as I see always, and I was able to develop this mind map. Very interesting. I have received lots of comments and appreciation on this. So with that, I would like to thank you for your patience I'd like to sincerely thank everyone who guided and supported me throughout this research journey. So thank you once again for joining my presentation. I now look forward to your thoughts and happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Dhanyawad.